All praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rachak. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believer. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. A menace to society. Hashtag Crew Lord. That's what this devil is. And you have to ask yourself, what is all this going to lead to? We're going to get some scriptures.
Tonight, with this government shutdown, the new threat from President Trump now suggesting that some of the 750,000 furloughed government workers told to stay home during this shutdown may not get paid for time lost. The president said today, quote, "Some people really don't deserve to be taken care of." He was asked what he meant by that. By the way, members of Congress are still getting paid through this with no end in sight. Rachel Scott at the White House.
Tonight, a new threat out of the White House. President Trump suggesting some of the 750,000 federal workers now furloughed without paychecks may not get back pay when the government reopens, even though that is the law.
I would say it depends on who we're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll
And you already know what he mean by that. If federal workers voted Democrat, that's what he's talking about. Because remember, now we all are actors in the Lord's movie. And, you have a lot of extras. That's everybody else that's on the outside of this thing. They still got roles to play. But when it comes to the wicked, hey, they part of the main story. All right, you got the star, Yahweh Ba Shem Yahweh Shai, basically the director of everything. Then you got the co-stars, Jacob and Esau, and then the prophets, and then you got everybody else. So these devils is just fulfilling scriptures by causing, as Yahweh Shai said out his own mouth in Mark 3:24, that if Satan be divided against itself, it cannot stand. All right, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, and that's all he's doing. So let me get this real quick, because this is the cruel Lord. And then you even have Gavin Newsom talking about, you already know they political actors acting like they're against each other, but he basically talking about if we don't do something now, he's going to become a forever president. And we believe that is the case. So anyway, it said, "In the Egyptians will I," who is the I? Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, "give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of Yahweh of hosts." All right. So that's what's happening. And all of this is going to lead to all the scriptures that we've been reading for years. All right. So, and also, it's been a week now since the government been shut down. And, however long it stays shut down, that's going to cause, financial crisis eventually. Some people is going to feel it more than others. You got people feeling it now. But a lot of businesses depend on government grants. So that's going to cause people to be unemployed. That's going to cause businesses not to, well, first of all, 750,000, that's a lot of people that's out of work. That's not that. So that's going to stop money from coming into businesses. Like I said about government grants, that's cut off. All right. So that's going to cause people getting unemployed, businesses shutting down. Also, if you're not spending money, that means that the economy is not growing. So all of these things can lead, to catastrophe. Catastrophe. I think I'm saying it right. I can't speak that well. But I can say this, it's going to be catastrophic. So we're going to see how this play out, but we are in prophecy right now. See, another thing that they don't understand too is that they think that they have control of the narrative, but they're fulfilling prophecy, because what are you doing So you're trying, and it's in the scriptures, you're trying to collapse the system. You're trying to get the people to beg for a solution. So you're causing all of these problems. We all know what the conclusion of the matter is, to get everybody digitally implanted. But do you understand that, and I've been saying this for years now, all you're doing is fast forwarding your end. But it says the prince of Zoan are become fools. So back in ancient Egypt, you had higher councils, just like you do in this spiritual Egypt. All right. So the princes of North are deceived. They have also seduced Egypt. So you're deceived because you actually think you're going to win, and all you're doing is bringing more problems to yourself. See, you have better chance having everybody liking you, but everybody hates you. You have also seduced Egypt. That is the order out of chaos. Even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof, Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. That's why everything is backwards. That's why everything is wicked. That's why everything is opposed to what's right. That's what perverse mean. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. Everything is out of course. All right. The whole foundation of the earth is out of course because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. As a drunken man staggered in his vomit, no stability. All right. And as you see, they keep on causing no, I think, is it instability? All right. I'm trying to find the opposite of stability. All right. So, but yeah, so that's what they're causing. When you go to Matthew 7, right, it talks about setting your foundation upon a rock and then setting your foundation upon sand. So even though that is, us depending on the Lord and his doctrine and doing the things that he say, because none of his words should fail, none of his words should go out void. But you can use that in the example that I'm trying to give. Like, our foundation is upon a rock and everybody else's foundation is upon sand. All right. So you don't have no stability. And it said, neither shall there be any work for Egypt. All right. And now all of this, that's what's going to cause. And that's what they want, though, which the head or tail branch rush may do. So it don't matter what status you are in. If you was rich, you're going to be poor real soon. And if you're poor, you're going to be more poor. All right. Because that's what it's all about. The servant is subjected to the lender. And that's all the things that they're causing.
Care of them in a different way.
The idea of the president deciding who will and who won't get back pay, a new fear for many federal workers. James Jones is a veteran who is now furloughed from his job as a maintenance mechanic in the National Park Service in North Carolina.
If we don't get back pay, that's going to be devastating for a lot of folks.
Now you look at this Edomite's face. We perceived that he's an Edomite, right? But look at this man's face. You already know he gonna shoot up some shit. let him go a month without getting paid. And like I said, all of this it's going to trickle down, though. It's going to trickle down. You can see the frustration in his face. See, right? It always starts with worry. Then it starts to, hey, I got to take matters into my own hands. So real quick, let's read through this, because that's what this all going to lead to. I ain't talking about this event right here. We're talking about events on top of events, because an event got to start somewhere. So right now you got the government shut down. You got ICE making havoc in Israelite cities, particularly in Chicago right now. All right. Things going on in Portland, Oregon right now. All right. And so you getting people grabbed out the house, children getting hog-tied out the house, and yeah, it's getting real. Protests everywhere. So a lot of things is happening at the same time. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. Of course, that's what they're going to have to do. This is why we've been reading these scriptures for years, because the Lord put it in our spirit to do it, because it obviously is going to be a day when the scriptures come to pass. But yeah, so like, look at what this devil is doing. This devil is causing this to the point that, for there should be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes in the course of their actual stand in their power. So you got people getting furloughed, not getting paid. He talking about some people don't even deserve to get paid. All right, so it's like he just causing havoc. And then, so you got man, something in my eye. Salaki, I'm scratching my eye while I'm talking. Damn, it's like some salt just came in my eye. But anyways, then you got these flight attendants. You know, the airports. They ain't going to work. You know, because they need their money, right? Then you got some who do go to work because they have the hope that, you know, they can get that back pay. So you got a lot of important airports, major airports that's shut down right now. So it said man should desire to go into a city should not be able. Now we all know that this talk about martial law, but look at what's happening right now. You got people who can't even catch flights because of this government shutdown. And it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, men shall be afraid. Especially when you don't have nothing to eat, when you can't pay your bills. Like I said, a man should have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So imagine these people who ain't getting paid, but then you see your neighbor going to work and still getting paid. That's going to cause some problems. All right. And it says, and spoil their goods, because why? They don't have it. Because of lack of bread and great tribulation, because that's what's going to follow. Lack of bread is going to cause the great tribulation. Lack of bread is going to cause a lot of crime and death. The beginning of sorrows, man.
A lot of federal employees, because they're going to, they depend on that back pay money to catch up on their bills.
President Trump would not say which workers stand to lose that money.
Why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Yes.
And I'm going to tell you what it is. They're Democrats. And the thing is, so let me say this real quick for the people who don't know. I'm pretty sure who watch, the Men on the Lord, y'all do know, but I got to say it just in case somebody's new watching. So you have the Democrats and the Republicans, they're on the same team, but they have to put it out there that they're against each other. Okay? So I just did a video probably last month of how going into the political actors. These people, they go have lunch together. All right? Because then you ask yourself, why? What you mean, why? Because when we say order out of chaos, that's what it is. I'm going to cause a problem. I'm going to get a reaction. And I already have a solution to give you. And you're going to cry for that solution. So right now, when Donald Trump get up there and talks about the blue states, the left, the Democrats, that's causing division. Okay? Joe Biden did the same thing. The red states, the Republicans. Okay? But it is the same. It's the two wings of the same bird. See, when we read Revelation 13:11, right, say he had two horns like a lamb, but then he spake as a dragon. When you go into that word horns, he used to present himself as a person who cares about your best interest. Now he don't give a damn. He's speaking as a dragon. We are in the time of this devil showing his horns. He's showing who he really is. And he at the end, so what the scripture say? He know he had but a short time. So he just kicking everything into gear. This is one of my favorite scriptures right here. I don't ever get a chance to use this scripture too. But today, I finally got a chance. Because I think about the scripture all the time. And this also proves that what the prophet's been saying, and even what whistleblowers been saying. People be thinking that the president is really the head. He ain't the head. If you see it's the oppression of the poor and violent perverting judgment, injustice in a province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So he is considered, the highest power in the land. But the scripture is saying that there is people higher than him. That's who they get their orders from. Okay? But then what it say at the end of the scripture? And there be higher than they. Like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay? So he's the one that's in control. And all this unrighteous decrees that he is doing, all he's doing, as the scripture says, That's why I love the scripture too, because the first three words, be not deceived. See, people are deceived. You seeing this man on TV speaking proud words, and you might be a little scared. You might think, oh my God, he got all the power in his hand. Be not deceived, the Most High is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. So he causing all this pain and suffering. He's about to get pain and suffering. As it says in Revelation 13:10, which is a classic, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. This is the faith and the patience of the saints. And that's the elect, baby. This is what we look forward to. And we looking forward to all of this chaos. Because the Lord say he going to give us provisions in that time. Our servants shall eat and drink. All right?
Ask the Democrats that question.
And Democrats say what the president is proposing defies a law he signed himself.
The law is clear. Every single furloughed federal employee is entitled to back pay. Period. Full stop.
And even some Republicans tonight calling it, quote, a strategic mistake.
There's a lot of good, hardworking people out there. I don't think that is helpful discussion right now. Let's get out of the shutdown.
All right, so let's get to Rachel Scott live at the White House tonight. Rachel, as we pointed.
So to end it on this, it said because of unrighteous dealings, and all of this is unrighteous. All right. Injuries and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. And guess who those people are? The Israelites. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. But this is the reason why you got to stay prayed up and watch this devil. As Yahweh Shai said. Matter of fact, let's end it on this. You got to watch what's going on. You got to be in the spirit. Okay. So it said, watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. Don't get caught up in all this, because we do, as a watchman, we watch a lot of news, but we report on what's prophecy, because there's so much stuff going on in the world right now. But watch and pray that you enter not into temptation, for the spirit is indeed willing, but the flesh is weak. So you got to stay prayed up and trust that the Lord said that he will save you. In the time of trouble, he got you, man. But all of this is going to, what you call it? It's something effect. It just slipped my mind right now. It's all good, We have to end the video anyway. But a trickle down effect. All of this is going to trickle down into the prophecies that we've been speaking on. So seek ye out the Lord while he may be found, and shalom.